beautiful soul. Welcome to the Quantum Business Queen podcast. This podcast is a vortex for activating wealth, riches, and boss bitches. It is here that I teach multi-dimensional business. Our content will fall under 3 different categories: 5D quantum creation, 4D frequency alchemy, and the most potent 3D strategy. Every aspect of business that contributes to the creation of success is covered here. Plus, I will be personally interviewing the most amazing boss bitches that are at the forefront of the game, paving the way for money, magic, and magnetism in business. Let's get ready to activate all of that within you. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Quantum Business Queen podcast. So last week we left it at making decisions on your soul's calling versus logical reasoning, which I know is hard because it is not how we're programmed. However, in this part of the series, we're going to dive deeper into quantum manifestation and how to lay the belief systems to support yourself. So, without further ado, let's dive in. So important. It is not easy, but it is so worth it. So funny. I happened to manifest someone, a man who is like all the things I've needed, like compatibility wise, who happens to own a digital marketing agency, building my new website, doing all these things. Like beyond what I could have asked, beyond what I asked for. It's just all these wild things are happening now, but it was all there waiting for me on the other side. And I would choose the path time and time and time again, because now I can sit here and tell you guys, like, this is actually what it takes. And to be honest, you don't have to go through that crazy grief in order to have profound transformation. That's just my story. That's just what happened to me. That's just this version of what I experienced, and I'm now sitting here telling you. Sometimes it's just a little bit of nervousness. Sometimes it's a little bit of, oh my God, I'm going to do this, but I'm a little scared. Sometimes it's that too. It doesn't have to be debilitating, pull yourself off the floor grief. But don't let those feelings of fear and being uncomfortable have you step back and into your old timeline, because this is where we create the hamster wheel. I want you to feel that fear and know you're being calibrated. Know you're being calibrated because it's everything you asked for. You're being asked to step into this place of leadership, and you get to lean in to the fire and let your old self burn. Glennon Doyle has become one of my favorite authors. Read her book, Untamed. But she says in order to experience the new, something like the degree that you're willing to experience new is that the degree to which you're willing to be annihilated or something. I felt like I was annihilated. There were so many old versions of me that were burnt to the ground. And that's the thing. The ego doesn't want you to jump into that new timeline because it feels like parts of it are going to die. And parts of it do die. But those are the parts that keep you oscillating in this old stagnant energy. So just understand what's happening when you're leaning into something new and scary. It's always uncomfortable. Okay. So decisions activate the portal. This is why we have to understand the quantum. The decisions activate the portal. You leaning in, knowing that you're going to be hovering over the abyss, and the abyss is the unknown. Once you choose that decision, you're going to feel the uncomfortable feelings. You're going to not quite know where you're going to land on the other side of it, and you still get to continue to lean in. I remember so many times where it was like I actually had to go back to the other house for a week just to mentally recalibrate myself, because it was this new timeline was such a recalibration. It was almost like I couldn't even handle it. It was crazy. But once I did, it was like the work that oh my God, it was so crazy powerful in that transformation. Now, what happens is, what we need to understand during this time is our beliefs are the things that allow us to access those timelines permanently or not. So let me just draw a little picture here. And like I said, the good thing about adversity is it shows you all of the beliefs. My main belief system initially, once I landed here, was that I had to be in grief and I couldn't be successful at the same time. My reality showed me that immediately, and I became so ungrounded, and I went, oh my God, thank you for showing me this belief. I cannot believe this. Who am I to think my life needs to be perfect in order to continue to build and scale my business? No, it doesn't. My life can be haywire. I could be losing my mind. And guess what? I still get to scale. That's a new belief. That's not a law of the universe. That was an old, outdated rule that I had and I didn't even realize. But it took me going through all of that to realize that that was running parts of me, which meant anytime I had a bit of a hiccup in my reality, things in my business would have slowed down because that program and that rule was running. But now, because I had that major adversity and I stepped into the timeline that showed me that and magnified it in a really powerful way, I'm always analyzing my reality because I know my reality is representative of everything I've chosen to believe to be true. Remember, there are no truths. There are no truths. There are just laws of creation. So we can use quantum discernment, meaning does the information I'm telling you today feel good, like it's expanding my cells, like it's some sort of truth that I consciously have never been able to grasp or maybe conceptualize? Or is the information Sarah is telling me, is it constricting me, making me feel dense and worried and scared and fearful? If it's making you feel constricted or doubtful or fearful, well then that's not a quantum truth for you. If what I'm telling you is that you get to choose anything, all realities are available for you. You get to have success no matter what you're experiencing. If that truth expands your cells, that means it is at a frequency alignment with your higher self. Therefore, you can take this information and choose it as a new truth because there are no truths. We are oscillating through, and this is coming from Bashar, we are oscillating through timelines 1 billion times per second, meaning every single reality is available. So if religion tells you this is a truth, well, that is a reality that's available. That is the truth in that timeline and in that reality. Or if somebody's saying this has been an experience, well, that was a timeline they experienced, but that doesn't mean that has to be yours. And so what we need to know is that this is you, and you have all of these timelines that are coexisting right now, because we know in the quantum, there is no time and there is no space. Everything is happening right now. And this is even like a very linear kind of drawing because it shows things stacked on each other. I almost like to do more of a spiral, meaning all of our timelines, what we think is the past, how we project the future, it's more of a spiral. If this is us in the middle, it's all happening all at once. This is why when you go and heal past child trauma, present day you is a new person. Because that past child trauma, you've now activated the timeline where that trauma is gone and healed. Therefore, it's impacting you presently totally differently in a totally different way. And I also do oh my God, I'm going on a crazy tangent. I also do a lot of future work with the Sarah. When I say future, like there's no future because it's all happening now, but the higher realm Sarah, who's rocking 300K months, that's my next goal, is living in her best life. I tune into her all the time. I get information and codes from her all the time, and I can feel like my heart expand and connect to her. So this is what we get to do. We get to choose this. So all of these possibilities, all of these timelines are available. What allows us to access them are our beliefs. So number one, when it comes to the quantum, I want to summarize. Number one is a choice. First thing I just spoke about is choosing. What are you choosing? Knowing that your choice activates the portal. Woo. I'm choosing to leave my marriage. Woo. Portal activated. Based on my belief system, I will then land in a timeline. Okay? So initially, my beliefs, I didn't realize firstly the grief I would experience. I thought, here I am. I'm going to have time to myself. I'm going to have my own home that I can make beautiful and vibe high and all these things. And I can have Ella not when I want her, but like I can have a break. It was not like that. Like being away from Ella killed me initially. Now it's great because we're both used to it. So anyway, what happened was I had a belief system that was subconscious. I wasn't consciously aware of it. However, now looking back, I see how it rampaged my past. That if I was going through something, then I had to sacrifice something else. That was a belief that I didn't even realize was playing out, but that belief landed me in that timeline. And then I experienced it. Is this making sense? Here's the coolest thing. The second you have a subconscious belief made conscious and you point that out as a nonsensical belief, it's done. It's gone. You don't have to do all this work to eliminate. The brain has already decided that does not make any sense. So don't perpetuate the idea that you have to do all this crazy work. Just know that once you say, oh, that doesn't make any sense and that does not apply to me, it's done. It's gone. I know this because I chose differently in that moment. I just went, oh my God, I'm so ungrounded. I think I have to choose grief and then sacrifice success. I get to have everything. I can be in this grief and honor it and honor the 6 months I took off and still scale. And clients came out of freaking nowhere when I chose it. The universe is being so funny with me lately. It's like the moment I choose, it's like it likes to play a joke on me. Oh, Sarah, I found you. I added you on Instagram yesterday. How do I work with you? Almost immediate. And it's like this timeline, this next one was just waiting, tapping me on the shoulder, waiting for me to release this anchor. Because that's what these become. The beliefs become the anchor that weight you in the timeline that keep you perpetuating. Becomes the anchor. Now, if you find it hard to release a belief, it's because under that belief is another belief that is keeping you grasping. And so sometimes beliefs can be multi-layered, but once you recognize them, and like I always say, when the truth is spoken, the spell is broken. You break the spell of the beliefs, they're done. They're gone. So, here's the cool thing. You create your timelines. Actually, I won't even say create because all of them are already there based on your beliefs. What you land in, what timeline you land in is all determined on the beliefs and programs that you're running right now. Your beliefs. It's very evident and very obvious, and it gets to be very simple. And your beliefs are something, and this is where the structure gets to be so, and we'll go into that in a second. So if you believe that who am I to, who's going to listen to me, what value do I have, am I worthy of blah, 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 blah. Ooh, that's a hard timeline, my friend. Yeah, that one's available. That one's available. If you're going to continue to choose those programs and those beliefs, it's available. You're more than welcome to stay in there, but I suggest not. I literally suggest you cut those anchors. Sometimes it will take a minute to reprogram that. Okay? Because what can happen is we have wiring. We have subconscious looping. And if you look at the neuroscience of this, we actually become addicted to the stories because our dominant thoughts are rewarded with dopamine. So you have to understand the beliefs that then run the stories. This is where when it comes, the subconscious becomes a conscious. This is where it's like you have a smorgasbord of choice. Let's dump all this old crap and let's create something new. So the second I believed that I get to have wild success, scale into multi-six figures, but I had to do the work behind this, and I'll show you what the work looked like for me. My reality started changing, and I'm still getting random clients out of nowhere. Oh, I saw you here. Oh, this and that. And I'm hardly, quantum is the biggest part of this. Your belief system, because we're oscillating through the timelines. We can have the most potent strategy on the planet. And one of the reasons why potent strategy works, where if you're like really behind the strategy, do you want to know why it works? It's because it's backing a belief. It's the belief that's driving it. But you think, I have the most amazing strategy. I have this funnel that's churning and burning that's going to make me $1 million, and it's all based on this data and it's all proven. All that's doing is activating a belief which will solidify you into a timeline. Isn't that funny? So beliefs are crucial. Beliefs are driving all of this for you. Beliefs are what will determine where you land in the infinite layers of possibility that are available right now in this second, literally in this second. Okay, but what we need to do is systemize this, because it needs to become a part of your non-negotiable everyday practice to double down on your frequency. This is it. Like, this is the work. This is the work. I mean, I know for those of you who have followed me for a while, this isn't anything new. For those of you who are new to me, you might have a bit of a head spin. And that's okay too. That's okay too. Okay. The great thing about adversity is it will uproot all of your beliefs. I had to double down because the universe was showing me so much. I had to believe that I was worthy of so much. All of the love, all of the passion, all of the compatibility, all of the companionship that I did not have. I didn't have any of the evidence that I was worthy of having that because I hadn't had that in so long. Plus a wildly successful business, plus just being wildly joyful. I was deliberately choosing it all. And right now I'm experiencing all of it. It's like, oh my gosh, this works. What? Oh, I was saying this to a client this morning. She is having, and people always say January is the slowest month in business. Everyone's checked out for the first couple of weeks. Ooh, careful with that one. Careful with that one. Me and my client, we spoke about that earlier, and she's having the highest revenue month of her career. This is how we transcend reality. We don't choose the rules and belief systems of other people. Stop doing that. This is, okay, I'm going to do one other visual, and I've done this so many times. Stop doing that. And I promise you guys, like, this is where your reality can feel like a fluke. Hook into people. Go, like, you need to quantumly discern who you let program you and who you don't, okay? Based on who you follow. So, I always say we are in a world within a world. Like, this is you within your world. And there are millions of people, there are programs, there are entrepreneurs floating around in their worlds, aka their timelines, who have beliefs, who have rules, who will speak about them out loud. And if they're saying, oh, here's how you get past January, that's the hardest month of the year, and you think, ooh, January is the hardest month. Ooh, that must be a rule, that must be a belief. And you start plugging into everyone else's baggage, guess what you activate in your own timeline? Everyone else's baggage, because you're looking at their reality of evidence for how yours should be. Then you're creating all of these frickin' anchors that were never yours to begin with. So you get to be highly aware of what these are. So when you hear people say something and it makes you feel dense, it's because it's not a quantum truth or a quantum reality that you should be choosing. This is why quantum discernment is your biggest tool. So when people say, oh, January is no, it's not the slowest month. It gets to be my highest month ever in business. Because that's the reality that's available. We're oscillating through timelines 1 billion times per second. We can't even comprehend that. Like, I can't even comprehend that. Can you comprehend that? What? That's wild. We do it through frequency. And we embody frequency through the choice, through our belief systems. So, this is the great news about business, right? If you can see a timeline, it's because it's there. If you can see yourself as a success, as 6 figures, as 7 figures, it's because it's there. In your mind, it would never be a possibility if you didn't already comprehend it. Your mind is a navigation tool. It navigates the quantum. That's what your mind is. The only thing that's holding you back are false rules and belief systems. This is why this is 90% of the work. I say work, but I mean, really? Okay. So, let me just make sure I haven't missed anything. One of the biggest things that I did is the identity piece, because when you start anchoring into higher level identity, what actually happens with that is there's just new subconscious belief systems about yourself. It's a self-concept thing. So when you have a higher realm identity, it's a higher realm identity, here's self-concept, and under that are all of these new beliefs. So the identity piece is really important for navigating the quantum. So in higher realm timelines where you're rocking multi-6 figures, 7 figures, there's a new identity, a new version of you who makes different, more empowered decisions. And underneath that empowered version of you who's making crazy empowered decisions are belief systems. The belief systems hold this version of you up. The belief systems might be, if you make this powerful decision, you will be successful. It is done. It's solidified to where there might be a Another version of you that's oscillating in and out of timelines who maybe wavers a little bit in the self-worth department, and that's okay, but that belief, that's being upheld. That identity is being upheld by beliefs. Identity is crucial. So when I am envisioning my next layer, I'm not envisioning just 7 figures. I'm envisioning 8 figures, because 7 figures is going to be limiting to me. So you need to go to that next level identity. So if you're wanting to hit 6 figures, I don't want you to associate yourself with that 6-figure identity. I want you to associate yourself with that multi-6-figure tapping into 7-figure identity, because I don't want you to limit yourself. Identity is really crucial. So start playing with the identity and the self-concept, because that's the part of you that also becomes hyper-magnetic. Okay. The key to the universe is knowing that there are no truths. Please remember that. There are no truths. It's how we quantumly discern. This is how we eradicate any misguided beliefs, because our beliefs are created by what we think are our truths. Once you see the belief is nonsensical, it's gone. When the truth is spoken, you break the spell. 90% of the work is understanding this. So knowing your identity. What's the next level identity? So let's say your first layer is 6 figures. I want you multi-6. What does it feel like to be making 500, 600K a year? Hopefully some of you are feeling that energy. And hopefully some of you are allowing yourself to feel that energy. Oftentimes a subconscious program comes up going, nope, we're not letting ourselves go there because I don't want to be disappointed. What's under that belief system? Peel back those layers immediately, please. You don't have to choose one or the other. You get all of it. You can have grief. You can have mishaps. You can have it and wild success. It's not one or the other. And know that detachment is the secret sauce. I mean, gosh, we could break this down. Oh, heck yeah, I'm feeling it. Okay. Detachment is the secret sauce, because when you're working from a place of detachment, you're working from a place of wholement. Of being whole. Wholement is not a word. I just made that word up. I might state that as a word. You are working from being whole. You cannot have the desire and have the manifestation at the same time, because that's the desire is saying you don't have it. Let the desire drive you to say that's what you're choosing. And once you've chosen it, detachment is your best friend on the planet. Detachment is when it is boom, it happens almost instantaneous. This is the energy of what I call abundance. Divine knowing and abundance. Abundance is, I am a mental billionaire. I want for nothing, but I get to choose what I experience. Not from a place of needing it, from a place of, this is the next layer that I get to embody because it's my birthright. From a place of being truly whole. This is the most powerful place, by the way, where you can impact and serve. Because then everything gets to come from alignment. My business never makes logical sense. I have parked multi-6-figure streams of income because it wasn't aligned. I was detached to needing that income. I don't need anything. I'm abundant. But alignment told me I need to do this. That's the most powerful place you could be to serve. I never convince. If you come and work with me, if we have a call, if we have an alignment call, you will never hear me convince you. You will never hear me say, you need to make a decision right now. I need a deposit from me. And for those of you who are on this call who worked with me, know that's true. We see if it's aligned, and if it is, great. And I know in my heart, by the way, I'll get off a call with somebody. They'll take 2 weeks to get back to me. I'll already know they're in the timeline working with me. I'll just sit back and wait. And every time it happens. That's detachment, because I already know the timeline they've chosen. It is allowing them to be empowered and come to the table in their own empowered decisions without yucky sales, without yucky convincing, because you are a mental billionaire. I want for nothing. I don't need clients, but I want to serve. The people who are called to work with me do. End of story. How good does that feel? I don't teach salesy things. It's just that come to me. Let's do this or not. That's abundance. Sheer detachment. People who are called to work with me do. You're not called to work with me, and you'll have heaps of free stuff. You can have it. Okay. Now, I want to get into the structure. This is pillar 2. You need to systemize the frequency work, my friends. We need to interweave the feminine and the masculine. Okay, we have to. This is the planet we live on. We live on this planet of contrast, of material and of energy, of, it's the masculine and the feminine. We need to automate, and systemize our frequency work. Okay? Double down on your frequency. You need to create a structure around this. So, morning routine. This sounds so simplistic, but I'm going to tell you mine, okay? This morning routine changed everything for me. I systemized it. When I woke up, instead of being in crazy grief and just having my day squandered by my emotions, I had to start giving myself structure and systemizing things so I could put myself in a place of choice again. I didn't feel like I was in choice because I was being led by all of this emotional stuff. Wasn't working for me. So I needed a structure. I needed to put my life, the pieces back. Every morning, I wake up around 6:37. I ground my feet on the earth. Now, there's so much scientific data that this isn't just woo-woo, let's connect with the Mother Earth energy. Yes, I love that too. But there's so much scientific data around the frequency of the Schumann resonance of the planet and what that does to your body, what that does to inflammation, what that does to your endocrine system. If you can put your feet on the planet the first thing in the morning, your whole energetic system recalibrates itself. So this is why I do this. If you can get morning sunlight, another layer of full on activation. Number one, the morning sunlight does not have UV rays. So you don't get any of the harmful rays. Oh, we get in the ocean. That's amazing. If you have an ocean, get yourself in the ocean. Morning sun does not have UV rays, but if you want to activate your pineal gland and your whole endocrine system, get your eyes, I don't say look directly at the sun, but allow yourself to absorb the morning sun. Now, I have also been drinking hydrogen water. Yes. Get yourself a hydrogen water. I'll have several bottles of this in the morning. It goes down super easy. So much data around hydrogen water, but I can tell you one thing, I feel insanely amazing. It's all about doubling down on your vibe. Whatever you can do physically to start feeling good is what's going to activate all of this possibility for you mentally. So how you feel physically, it's interwoven in everything you experience mentally. So this is why it's so important to really get into your body and ask your body and feel into what your body needs. So hydrogen water, it cleans out your cells. It impacts inflammation. It's been known to reverse autoimmunity stuff. It's crazy. So hydrogen water. Then I do 3 rounds of breath work. That's so powerful. After the breath work, I haven't put this in there, but this is what I have been doing. This is where after the breath work, there's something crazy that's activated energetically. This is where you go into the next level timeline. This is where you visit yourself that's in the multi-6-figure running 600K a year version of yourself and get information from her. Get codes from her or him, whoever you are in that new timeline. After your breath work, this activates different brainwave states. So if you're in a heightened brainwave state, you're able to access timelines a lot easier. So this is where you access that version of yourself and stream information, stream codes. This is where I get inspired to do what I need to do for the day. Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's like you need to rest or whatever. That can be hard. Then I move my body. Then I cold shower. Then I do something called ego blasting. Now, ego blasting, I've spoken about this for so long in my academy. This is where you go through your timeline that you've already experienced and gather all the evidence. Gather all the evidence of everything you've done. This is important. What this does, it's the best. Ego blasting will create fertile, energetic soil for you to then script. So what it does, when you go through your timeline, so it's like, oh my God, I remember the version of Sarah my whole dream was to live in Australia. And my whole dream was to work for this company. Then my dream was and then I go through my time and I'd be like, I accomplished that. I did that. Oh my God, I manifested. So gather all the evidence of everything you've done and ego blast yourself. Blast that ego being like, see, we have done this and we can do this and we get to choose it. Once this is really creating, like I said, very fertile, energetic soil, so to speak. Once the soil is fertile by way of ego blasting, then I want you to script. Scripting means, oh my God, I'm so grateful and thankful for my 300K months with ease. And you're saying this from a place of, oh my gosh, this is so done. I'm so detached because it's just a reality I'm in. Oh my God, I'm so grateful and thankful to be madly in love with someone who's madly in love with me. Oh my God, I'm so grateful and thankful. Like I can feel the gratitude in my heart that my body is vital and that all of my business comes seemingly out of nowhere and that all of this gets to happen and my clients get wild, amazing, crazy results because they embody this work too. I am so grateful. This is you scripting your life. You are the producer. As Dolores Cannon says, you're the actor. You're the script writer. So if you're not deliberately writing the script in fertile, energetic soil, you'll feel like someone else is writing it for you. This is why we get to systemise all of this frequency work. Game changing! But you want your body feeling, there's nothing better than feeling good in your body. There's nothing better than that. We got to double down on the mind, on the body, and on the soul. So we systemise it. Okay? So this is you tapping into the quantum. This is you having your body feeling freaking amazing. And this is you working on your ego. So at nighttime, you want to look at how do I subconsciously reprogram? So this is where you start subconsciously reprogramming. Did you know, and I have this in my quantum coach certification, as you drift to sleep, obviously you guys probably know this, but your brain switches its brainwave states, which is why a lot of the time you see your infomercials at nighttime. Because as we get drowsy, our brainwaves switch to a more susceptible state of programming. So again, this is why a lot of the infomercials are pushed at night. You might be watching a TV show and all of a sudden you're drifting to sleep and boom, all of a sudden there's an infomercial on. They know that humans' brains are shifting into theta, which is the programmable brainwave state. Pretty wild, right? And if we understand we're being driven by our subconscious belief systems and everything that's being programmed within ourselves, we want to take control over this. So here's what you could do. I saw this somewhere and I was like, oh my God, this is genius. So I've been doing this. Your subconscious mind is more susceptible to programming if it comes from your own voice. So go to AI, ChatGPT, ask it to write you a hypnotic subconscious reprogramming script. So when you go to a hypnotherapist, there are certain words they use, certain ways they like put the words so it relaxes you and flows and like really starts tapping into deeper layers of the subconscious. It's not just something that's thrown together. It's very deliberate. You can actually ask AI or ChatGPT to write you a script in the way a hypnotherapist would write it, and then ask them to write it for business, for abundance, for health, for whatever it is. Record it with your own voice, and as you drift into theta at night, which is the place where you're being reprogrammed, you're going to have this script start to reprogram you. This is where you write your own script and experience crazy changes in your reality. Like, I can't even tell you guys how wild this has been for me. I can sit here now and say, this is the happy, I pinch myself. My business gets to be this. My clients get to experience wild success. I get to experience finally like compatibility and love and support and a free new website. Not that I ever thought I'd manifest that, but it came by way of a partner who just happens to own a digital marketing agency. Because it's coming from you, which is your like ultimate truth. It's like when you speak to yourself, it's like God, because you are God. The universe is you inversed. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. We will leave it here today, but be sure to come back next week for part 3. Thank you so much for listening today, beautiful soul. I hope you got so much gold and were activated in such a way that you could step into your highest timeline of abundance and freedom, because it is more than possible for you. If that desire has been planted in your soul, it is so deliberate. If you wouldn't mind, please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast so that we can get this message into the hearts and ears of more amazing light beings across the world. I would love to continue this conversation with you, so feel free to get in touch on Instagram at sarah.tynan.quantumcoach. If you're a Facebook person, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Sarah Tynan International. And please don't ever forget, if your desire is there, it's because your destiny is there too. You just have to remember who you are.
Bye for now, beautiful.